House, which is a Uganda commercial bank, Apollo Hotel. A lot of these buildings came up in the 60s. Uganda was thriving in the 60s. That's a legacy of Obote also. Now today, when we don't have hospitals, we have hospitals without medicines. We have an education system where some kids are not going to make it even if they're brilliant. Don't you think we need some of that back in the equation? We have parents who struggle to make ends meet. UPC had programs with the cooperatives. The farmers were able to make ends meet. Don't you think we need that discussion as we go into 2026? That is what we bring as UPC. If you want to get stuck on one item, it is your choice. But if somebody like that says he's a supporter of Kyagulanyi, and then he wants to undermine saying that, no, Kyagulanyi should not go, you think there are no voters in Lango? There are voters in Lango. There are voters everywhere in Uganda. You cannot afford to alienate anybody. Let's be honest. The ones who are pushing this fire, I know who they are. The ones who are scared. The ones who will try to make sure that Akena cannot be on the ballot. So, any movement, anything, whatever, they start reacting, they try to get it. They try to polarize the society. Why do we need it now? If I look around this room, let me see. I don't think, maybe 2 or 3 people who were born in 66. I was not alive. As old as grey as I am, I was not alive in 1966. And you want that to dominate the conversation today? Conversation today should be how we should deal with tomorrow. How we can create a future, how we can live together in this Uganda. And I think what I demonstrated together with Bobi Wine, we should be given a good clap. We should be able to live in Uganda even if we have different political ideologies. I come from a left or center. My policies are completely different to many other parties, but I do have the foresight to be able to sit down and look at Uganda as bigger than all of us. And that is what I will fight for. That's what I'll struggle for. That's why I'm fighting to be on the ballot. But I'm not afraid to call out somebody who is not doing straight or who is messing things up. And I've called them out. And I'll repeat again, Mr. President, please stop this. Let us have an honest, free election. You accuse Obote of rigging election, now you have Akena Obote here. Let him stand. If the people of Uganda want to ostracize Akena, feel free. I have been here 20 years. I've lived amongst you. And you think, well, where's my mother from? I'm a child of Uganda. So, do I wish anybody bad? No. Do I wish anybody what happened to my grandparents? No. But now we must have a legacy where Ugandans move forward. For a long time we've talked about truth and reconciliation. People don't want truth, they want propaganda, and blame people. Blame this one. Oh, the problem is because of this, the problem is because of UPC. UPC has been out of power for 40 years. Is UPC still the problem? It cannot be. We are still struggling with very simple things which UPC solved and can solve again. That is why I want to be in this election. I thank you. Interfered with, and I am trying to address it from where it was interfered with. Right? It was not under ordinary basis, and I've addressed it from the position of a sportsman. I remember I addressed it before it happened with my official motocross jersey. In sports, in fact I wanted to address it yesterday with the Archbishop. A penalty. I'm sure many people follow things like Masaza Cup and Fufa Drum. If I get a red card in the Masaza Cup and then I'm called for national duty, that red card cannot stop me from going for national duty. Here we talk about Uganda. Uganda were governed by the Constitution #1, then the laws, Presidential Elections Act. Am I outside the Presidential Elections Act? No. Was I stopped outside the Presidential Act? Definitely yes. Was it wrong? Yes, it is wrong. And that is why I continue to fight. I continue to seek justice, that I am restored and I be able to put my message to the people of Uganda. And I'll not tire in doing that one. I'm using every means possible, because even how it was not done through legal or proper channels. It was done other means. So I'm using the same means to try and put pressure that I'm back on the ballot. That's the most I can say. Yes, sir. We're back. Recently, Museveni has just finished his tour of northern Uganda. And when he talked about the war, he says you cannot know what happened in war, you don't know who, what, people have lost lives. He doesn't know the details of what happened in the north. But Luero, he knows in detail, it is all UPC. In the north, we don't know. So it doesn't add up. This is the same person who's in charge of the same army. And in the north, when I came in 2006, 2005, I found people still in camps. 20 years living in camps. The issue which has been there about compensation of cattle. Every family lost cattle. And cattle in the northern part and the eastern part of Uganda, this is the livelihood, this is the bank, this is the institution under which the families survive. That's how you educate children, that's how you marry, that's how you do everything. It's all based on the cattle. Then we wake up all of a sudden and we say, no, we cannot pay, now we're going to do five animals per household. Where is the plan? Where is the budget? There has never been veterinary treatment for the last 20 years. Then you say, you're going to bring animals. Where are you going to bring them for? So for me, these are things which need to be addressed. You're not being honest. On the question of what happened in Luero, what was Obote doing in Luero? Obote came with a blueprint for Uganda. That blueprint was published. Museveni was the one in Luero. He's the one who said he had an army. Obote was locked out in 78. The whole of 79, no Obote. Half of 70, half of 80, Obote was not there. So for me, let us be honest. We need an honest solution. What is going to work for our people? On one side, you don't know what happened. On one side, you know. How is it possible? We want justice. We want honesty. The rebuilding of Uganda, part of the rebuilding, is what got me in these processes, is what got me to be able to sit on the table, is that we needed peace. I demonstrated that desire for peace by acting upon it. Were we victims? Yes. In 87, my grandfather was killed. Obote's father was killed during one of these cattle raids. His mother, I don't even want to talk about what happened to his mother. It happened 87, we've gone through it. It has not stopped me from sitting on the table to discuss the future of Uganda. And I will not stop. If I can sit with Museveni, I can sit with Chagulanyi. I sat with Coin. Why can I not sit? Why can we not sit as leaders? For me, the basis of iPod was how we can have a conversation, almost conversation, where is our country going? And I think for me, I've demonstrated honesty. When it has come to iPod, when it has come to conversation across political lines, I have done so with honesty, and I'll continue to do so, because I believe in Uganda. At the end of the day, people talk about iPod. iPod is going to be what the people of Uganda send. If the people of Uganda say they're sending Nuke to Parliament, they should be part of iPod. UPC, part of iPod. Whoever the people of Uganda send, those are the people who we must sit together with. That's the choice of the people of Uganda. Can we second guess them? No, you wait for the next election. So I don't have a problem sitting down with people. I don't have a problem discussing, because I know what I stand for.
The UPC National Headquarters building. I have decided to address the press today because of recent, the President of the National Unity Platform honored an invitation to come and visit me in Akokoro. While there, he also took the opportunity to lay a wreath on my father's grave. But I've seen many comments in different areas, social media and the like. So I think it's important that I also pronounce myself on this. But as we look back in history, I'm also offering a word of caution to leaders, both past, present, and future. Very often, a little noise can cause some people or some leaders to become reactionary. But leadership should not be about echoing emotion. It should be about steadying the nation. The test of leadership is not how loudly we respond, but how faithfully we will continue to serve. My father's enduring legacy in Uganda is not in the arguments of the past, but in the hospitals, the schools, the institutions that continue to serve the people. Nakaseke Hospital has treated generations since the late 60s. The same can be said of Kiboga, Kayunga, Kawolo, and Gomba hospitals, all born from the same national vision. And these institutions continue to heal the citizens of Uganda. In education too, the expansion that began under the Uganda People's Congress opened doors for millions of Ugandans to learn, to work, and to build a future. The UPC believed, and I still believe, that every life of every citizen is as precious as the privilege. Our duty is to those whose names we may never know, who have no one to advocate for them, but who as citizens of Uganda deserve a decent standard of living in dignity and with opportunities. That to me is the true meaning of nationhood. Not the quarrels of yesterday, but in the quiet daily work of making life better for every citizen of Uganda. In 1980, Uganda once again stood at crossroads. The general election then offered our nation a chance to recover from years of turmoil that had scarred every family and community and every institution which served this country. My late father, Dr. Apollo Milton Obote, returned to Uganda at the end of May of 1980, barely 6 months to a general election. If you translate that to today's timetable, that is like entering the country at the end of June and being ready to prepare for election in January. All these stories you hear about Obote manipulated, Obote was not on the ground to manipulate. Obote came to Uganda 6 months to the elections. Any politician who you have not seen on the ground for the last 2 years and is contesting an election, you know that is a joker. The ones who are serious have been on the ground. But Obote came 6 months to an election, but is being accused up to tomorrow. There was no time to manipulate the system or prepare to grab power. The challenge, as UPC saw it, was how to deal with Reconstruction. By contrast, when you follow what President Museveni has repeatedly said, he said he entered the country in December of '78 with very few people. But by the time Kampala fell in April of 1979, he had 9,000 men. Earlier editions like Sowing of the Mustard Seed, the original edition has 7,000, but he had 9,000. Reason being, he had prepared for war, not for an election. He was going to war irrespective of what happened in that election. And Obote is just the punch bag. Obote, on the other hand, prepared for government. When he came to the general election, the Uganda People's Congress is the only political party which presented a full blueprint for the economic recovery of Uganda. And anybody can quote me and I'll produce whatever is necessary. That blueprint later evolved to become the recovery program, which was then later plagiarized by the National Resistance Movement and renamed the Reconstruction and Development Plan, because NRM in truth did not have a program which was bankable and which could serve the people of Uganda. UPC's roots is also in its endurance. UPC is tied with the recovery of Uganda, the building of institutions, the cooperatives, our hospitals, our schools, all of them traced back to plans and programs of the Uganda People's Congress. It was not designed to cater for the privileged, but was designed to cater for every citizen of Uganda to be able to live in dignity, educate their children, and find hope in the time where things were not working. Now, as we approach another general election, we must remind ourselves of what elections are truly for. They are not for trading insults, not for stirring emotions. Elections are the people's opportunity for choosing a path which will rescue Uganda and decide on whose plan works, and not those who just come with slogans. During a general election such as this, the debate should center on the plans and programs which will uplift the citizens of Uganda out of the poverty which they face and fix the systems which are not working, like our health system, and give opportunity for all Ugandans to achieve their dreams through an education system which is not biased. This national conversation should not be about personalities and should not be about propaganda. And those who will be presenting their plans, we must ask, are those plans genuine, or are the presenters genuine? Are they honest? Are these plans actually workable, or they're simply words for the campaign trail? That is a measure by which I wish Ugandans to judge me and Uganda People's Congress, and to judge anybody who seeks to lead them. I'm not here to rewrite the past, but I am here to complete the work of rebuilding Uganda according to the program and policies of the Uganda People's Congress, and which was done with great sacrifice, but must be fulfilled in time. Unfortunately, the Uganda People's Congress as yet has been denied the opportunity to present in this essential conversation a work plan for the people of Uganda, which we believe will raise the standard of living across this nation. But we have not given up on that mission, because this, to me, is much bigger than just this election or this race. I'm looking at a Uganda which works for all of us. Somebody here mentioned he wants a better today, but you start today for that better tomorrow. And that is where I am committed, for that better Uganda that works for all of us. Irrespective of what happens, I will continue to stand for that Uganda. I'll speak for that Uganda, and I'll work for Uganda, which works for all of us. And I invite every Ugandan who still believes there's a hope for Uganda to join me in building a Uganda that works for all of us. I thank you.
Thank you for watching Lyra Scoop. We are glad you are here.